First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sea, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, from a young age, taking my soul into the masses, writing my poems for the few that looked at me, took to me, shook to me, feeling me, singing my heartache from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the
Like that on. Hello!
Hello, everybody.
No, Mama, load shedding didn't get us.
I know.
Thankfully.
Give us a break.
Let's all keep praying.
Forget you're on European African time now. That can be a variable schedule depending on what's happening in the world. You know.
Over here, we call that Africa time.
Right. For us, we would say continental time. Obviously, because we are shoved over on the two wee islands off to the side. Out of the way of everything. So if you're looking for an excuse, you go over there, and equally well, because we're way over here, we're sort of separate too. It's the best of both worlds. Works well.
Hey, you guys, you are way too wacky. You just stay there.
Well, I think that's what they did with us a long time ago. They were like, you all go over there. you Irish people, you're not right in the head. You need to go away over there. And it worked. Hello, everybody. Good to see ya.
Hello to everyone. Everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Now look at Stella playing with my shit.
Stop. What? Look. This is how this goes every week. Every week. Hello, Carol Johnson. How you doing? I'm glad to see you, love.
Carol, you have no idea what immense joy it brings us to see you. We so miss the days when you used to be Tiffany's left foot.
Also, I was just telling Griffey about when you used to go in and terrorize PG and Griff, and that's partly why we were late. It was important news she needed to know, so I told her all those things, and it made her chuckle a lot.
Very much so. But me, Miss Carol, even more. I want to go see her trolling again because those were the best days of my life.
Right? Those are the little moments that help you stay sane, because you're like, it's going to be okay.
Going into the next live stream wondering what Carol's name will be today.
You need to step up your game, Carol. We've missed it. We've missed it so much.
Well, Carol, in that case, we got some very good news for you. We will be live streaming as much as possible.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a wee bit, but we have a revamped schedule, everybody, to try and sort of fit in and around all the things. And I think this might work, but we're going to try it for a couple of weeks and see how it goes, and then we might need to revisit the plan, but this is the plan for now. Yeah. You want to go and say hello to everybody, Griffey? Because I know that you always have to say hello.
No, that would be Stella. I started doing the hello to everybody, and then it started becoming a thing where Stella would like, you gotta say hi to this person. You didn't say hi to this person. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Hello.
I could be telling you the saddest story of my entire life. I could be telling you about whenever someone operated on me in the middle of the street and was like armpit deep in my abdominal cavity, and Stella would be like, "Hi, Carol Johnson, hi."
After a while, that started happening. She was just like, "Oh, the two of you are useless. I'll just do it myself." So, so in the grand scheme of changing things, how about we let Stella do the hellos, and then we're both off the
I
hook.
think that is perfect.
Mm.
Ooh,
No, I don't
ooh.
want to.
But
Oh my
we
Hello,
wanted
god.
to.
everyone. Hey.
Hello, everybody there. Wow, Mama Oklahoma, Pamela Tate, Carol Johnson, and Jesse. Wow, we got to pull out.
Hello, 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 hello.
Alert!
I wanted to say hello and you said they could play with your shit.
You want to play with my shit?
Look, again, we've derailed into something that none of us want to be here for. Not anybody wants that. Nobody wants that. If you do
Well,
want that, join the OnlyFans. But until then, we're not talking about it. We're on the happy lunchtime American schedule. Tiny Africans, we have to try and remember that.
okay. So happy lunchtimes in America does not contain shit.
Oh
Got it.
God. See, if I said that, I would be in trouble for days. Just saying. Just
I'll
saying.
only be in trouble once I get there.
I also want to address something else. What is Pam still here? Pam, are you still here? Hello, Pam. Pam, are you still here? Pam,
Pam,
Pam, Pam,
Pam.
Pam. Earth to Pam, Pam to Earth, Earth to Pam. No Major Tom is involved in this communication. You still here, Pam?
Pam, Pam, can you hear me? There you go. Pam's still here.
Good girl, Pam. Good girl. um, I had saw what you had said earlier about Chip. Now, now, in the best way I can put this to a lot of people, come to the light, Pam. uh, the best way I can put this is I've heard several people talk about Chip, saying that Chip has passed, but, but, I've not seen confirmation from anyone. So take that as you will. Until I see confirmation, I'm not going to be putting it out there. And I would hope that other people would stop putting it out there too. I understand that people are concerned, but we need to try and I know that there was a couple of people who were a lot closer to Chip recently. They might be the people to ask for that confirmation, and maybe then we would get an actual definitive answer. But for now, until we get no, I'm not telling you off, Pam. I'm just saying I think that's where we stand. I think that's where the best way I can say it for now is I've heard the same thing, but I haven't been able to prove that. And I think that that would be fair to everybody because I don't want to put something out there unless I can be sure that that would be the case.
Yes.
So if anybody does have that confirmation, let me know. I would be, because I know that she was important to a lot of people as well. So that would be the best way I can say it for now. So if you do hear something, Pam, give us a shout. As we say here in Northern Ireland, give us a shout.
Give us a wee shout.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, that's the one thing to always keep in mind. I know it can get stressful and confusing at times. Um, when myself and we say something like we cannot confirm it, um, bear in mind, especially you guys in America, you have Freedom of Information Act. You guys can find out a lot of things about each other, about your neighbor's dog, about anything you want to. But internationally, things don't work the same way.
Right.
The
Unless it's in the
UK,
paper,
yeah,
you can't really prove it. Unless you have somebody who has the proof, you're in difficult waters.
I mean, speaking for South Africa alone, I cannot find out anything about any other private citizen in South Africa unless I go through a court and I need to prove just cause as to why I need that information. So I'm pretty sure it works similarly, if not the same, in the UK. So we cannot confirm something that we don't know, unfortunately. So yeah, if somebody does have any confirmation of any kind, feel free to send it on to we,
Yep.
and we thank you for it.
Um, I think that's the best way we can work for it because the other thing is too, sometimes things get confused or information gets twisted at some point. We've all seen that happen time and time again. Where somebody has maybe meant a thing, but the way that another person takes it up to mean something else.
Yeah.
So I hope that, I hope that it's not the case. I think that would be the best outcome for everybody if we find out that it wasn't the case, you know, because that's a final passing, really.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. We'll work on it. But that's why I'm glad that I saw you, Pam, because I was thinking of the same thing today. And I think there's a few of us that have been around that long since Adam was a wee lad in this community
Knee
that
high to a brick shit house.
that we can do a wee bit of sort of research. But it is difficult in the UK. It's difficult because unless somebody puts a death notice in the local newspaper, you really don't have a way of finding out. Um, Not that it's easily accessible public record, you know. Um, there's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah. And hi there to Tony, and hello, Rick.
Rick Shagnick. We're glad
Yes.
to see you, Tony. I'm glad to see you, love. Um, Tony's had a like the rest of us. We all have bumpy bumpy times at times, and you just have to roll with the punches and keep going. Tony has done that, and I'm glad to see her back on the road to having control of her own stuff.
Yes.
That happens to us all, no matter what's going on.
So, in a very long version that only we can do it, um,
Yeah,
welcome back, Tony.
I know. It's me trying to look. You know, I have too many words for all the things. Too many words.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been quite a while. Damn, it's been quite a bit since we played anything, really.
Yeah.
As soon as we're able, Rick will be playing again. Um, so yeah.
Rick, can I
Hopefully.
convert you to Borderlands? Can we do that? And then we can all play Borderlands together. How would
You
that
play
suit?
Borderlands?
Well, we if we can get like the legal copy of it, we can play it with you.
Yeah.
Currently,
Yeah.
we have the not so much legal one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll talk about that later because other people will be going, yeah! Um, oh, did you just look? I've forgotten I can put messages on the screen. Hello. I forget that
Hello.
I'm the pushy button person. Sorry about it. Carol.
She wants to be a what now?
If she had said I wanted to go and join the circus, I would have endorsed it quicker. What is this? What is this?
That
What
woman
are we
can't take
doing?
care of a dog. She wants a child?
Her only child is basically raising herself, and she wants to be a foster parent. She can't look after two dogs, but wants to be a foster parent. Yeah, because those kids haven't been through enough. Let's go. Let's make them go and live with Ziggy. Great stuff. Great. Lovely. Love that. Fabulous.
Whew.
Fabulous.
I'm with Carol on that one. I think she found out she'd get a paycheck from it.
That's the sad part where that does happen. That breaks my heart because it's one of those things that, I mean, we saw it with the West Boys, for example, where there is a financial incentive there for people to take children into their home when really those children shouldn't be placed there. Um, it's a sad reality of the situation where you could have 100 amazing foster parents, adoptive parents, all the things, who are doing all the amazing things, and it's that one case that screws it all up for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm talking about serious shit here, and you're
See,
grinning like a fucking Cheshire cat. That doesn't help.
sorry, I saw Stella's expression. I was like, what? And then I realized she was reading the chat, and I'm like, oh my. But yeah, I do tend to agree with you that that would be the worst thing for any child.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I think I
I
think the
think she
Manson
has I
family.
think she has love to give in her life. I do. I do. Well, this is
Go,
where I'll be fair and you can be the asshole for once.
go
I
volunteer
love
at a
that. I
free
love that.
soup kitchen then.
Well, right, right. Or go and help out at a women's shelter where there's women there who would be grateful of somebody helping them out with their children for a couple of hours because they are
Ah,
so overwhelmed and exhausted. All of the things.
good.
There's ways to achieve all that thing, but as you quite rightly said, it wouldn't have a financial benefit to it at the end of it. I think
Mhm.
that's quite true. Mm, that tells you a lot. you know?
Yeah.
You know. Oh, one other thing before we get on to anything that is, because I don't want to keep bringing everybody up and down. Part of the reason for mentioning Chip, and I think part of the reason that Chip has been mentioned recently is because obviously Nana's angels had sadly passed a few days ago after being unwell on the previous night's live stream. Um, our condolences go to her family, her children, her grandchildren, who are all streaming on Nana's chat. Please, guys, come on.
Sorry.
You're all streaming on Nana's channel at the moment. If you can support them with even a supportive word or comment, please try and do so. If you are in a position where you want to and feel able to help financially, there are links on their channel to do so. Um, because whether you supported her channel or not, I think there she clearly loved Summer, clearly, and clearly had a lot of love to give to the world. So, um, that is something I think always needs to be recognized. You know,
Yeah.
everything else is just stuff and things. I've seen people say some very horrible things. I've seen people do some very good things. It is what it is. So if you can help in any way, try and do so. Even if it's just to tell those kids that they're going to be okay. because you can see that they're all devastated. God love them. Like they're just
Yeah.
in shock.
So yeah, our deepest condolences and prayers to the family. Loss of life is never easy.
No, but it is also a timely reminder for people. We all get a wee bit lackadaisical at times where, you know, if you were taking care of somebody else and they were facing, if they were dealing with severe pain or whatever, or an unusual symptom, you would get them medical help. But when it's yourself, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll see how it is tomorrow. Oh, I'll be fine. I have to get up and get the kids to school. I have to go and do such and such in the morning. I'll see how I'm doing then.
Yeah.
As an ICU nurse of over 20 years, I can't tell you the amount of people I have dealt with that if they had sought medical assistance a little bit sooner, they wouldn't have ended up in the position that they were. It's never a waste of time. You will never waste anyone's medical time asking about a symptom or a condition or something that's concerning you. Ask a friend, ask somebody you trust. Um, I understand that obviously with in South Africa and in America having to pay for healthcare, that is also an added burden because not it's either the choice of sit there for 4 days waiting to be seen or be able to pay for it and get seen. Both, have their pros and cons with everything. But there's a time and a place for all things. So please take care of yourselves, people. We only get a chance at this once, despite the fact that sometimes it can be really shit. Sometimes it can be really awesome as well. And for all of you that are in the chat, for all of you that'll be in the replay, you're important to us. You might not feel important to anybody else, but you're important to us. So please, do as you're told before we has to shout at you, okay?
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Right?
Trust me. When if I should ever message you and say be careful, we is looking for you, that would be your cue to run and hide. You're welcome.
No, no. If I send out the message that we is looking for you, that's the time to run along and present yourself and go, hey, how you doing? Hey, Lisa Jones, how you doing?
Hello, Lisa Jones. How you doing?
And you're right, Pam. We're never promised the next day. Life is fleeting. I have seen that so many times. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm a wee bit uh, fatalistic at times. It wouldn't be that I don't say that I don't have hope, but I think sometimes I'm a bit overly practical of what you can control and what you can't. Unlike a certain pigeon would like to tell everybody, I don't think I control everybody else's behavior. I'm a wee bit more realistic than that.
Do you think this is Wee's nicest way of telling people that she's devoid of any feeling?
It's like a sucking black hole of misery.
I'm just kidding. She's just a little bundle of love.
I am. I'm just prickly on the outside, but my prickles are there for good. I'm like a hedgehog. I've got a little soft belly.
So we should call you Sonic now?
Oh, can you imagine? Ta-ding! Racing through the YouTube streets.
A mile a minute.
Hey, Amanda.
Hello, Amanda.
as another handy dandy reminder, I just remembered something else. Matthew has been doing some more interviews on his channel.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything else, when we can all we once we all speak, God only knows what happens most of the time. So sometimes it can be funny, sometimes it can be thought provoking, sometimes it'll change your mind about a person in a good way, sometimes it won't. But if you aren't subscribed, please go over and do so and listen in, because I think those conversations are interesting to listen to. For me, I choose to listen to those interviews rather than interact with them, because I prefer hearing the conversation for what is being said rather than my input into the
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I listen to it like a little radio interview or something, because I think that is more important, because
Yeah.
they're giving you information. So yeah, those are worthwhile.
There, I agree. I'm actually looking forward to the interview with Tangeray, although I'd have to watch it on replay. But looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
That's tomorrow, everybody. So, well, let's see if we can find Matthew's wee linky link.
Mapo?
Uh,
You know, every time I see you typing that in chat, I can hear you saying it in your voice.
Matthew.
Mapu!
It's
Mapu!
adorable. It's a little bit like the hey, because then you can say it in a good way if you're in a good mood. If you're in a bad mood, you can say it in a cross way. It works for
Hey.
all of the things.
Hey!
Uh, right? Yeah, look, it's perfect. Perfect.
Except when some people go and fuck up a perfectly good. Can you hear me? It was
Uh,
one of my most fun things to say and
I
got all
know.
fuckered.
I know. It's so silly. It's so silly. Why are you staying in the bushes, Lisa Jones? Get out of my bush! GTFO my bush, Lisa Jones. Get back in here.
Yeah, please stay out of the bush. It needs a grooming.
Alright, look, come on, it's midweek. What do you expect? You're lucky we're all here.
Landscaping services are out of order
Right?
currently.
We'll have to wait till we have time on Friday. Everything else is just short-term maintenance. I was about to say a lick and a promise, and that sounded terrible. So let's move on. Okie
We all
dokie.
like a lick and a promise. Even especially if that promise yields surprising results.
Completion.
You know, I shouldn't forget that link and a promise. I think it would serve me well in future. Hello. Hey.
Stella's wee face is just like, I don't know whether to kill you, hug you, or push you out the window, but whatever's going to happen.
All of the above. And then nurse me. And then throw me out the window again.
Boing. Hey,
With a you
Chris.
said what on the live stream? Hey, Sophie's mama.
Hey. Um,
Hi.
Amanda, look, I still haven't had any Jaffa cakes. I think at this point we need to organise some sort of GoFundMe for
Yes.
we to have Jaffa cakes, and then a second one for we to send Jaffa cakes to the tiny Africans.
Yes.
Um, in that order, of course, because priorities, bitch. But we need all the Jaffa cakes. I still haven't had Jaffa cakes.
I still haven't seen a Jaffa cake
Well, you've seen one, a
on
picture of
TV.
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've
And
heard the
I
little
learned
song
the
about it.
catchphrase and everything.
I love that we programmed you uh, to anticipate the Jaffa cake. This is a good thing. I can tell you one thing. I can actually make a cake. I haven't made one in a long time, but I did one for one of my friends' birthday, which was like a birthday cake sized Jaffa cake. I have to
Wow.
admit, one of my most stellar accomplishments. I did good. It was huge. To be honest, right now I could stick the whole feckin' thing in my face and be kind of happy and be done with life. Just be like, yeah, that'll do. Uh, but I haven't made one in a while, but it was pretty glorious. I'm not a baker. My mother was a very good baker, but it was one of the things I was like, well done, well done. You've done well here. Congratulations. Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's the reason you don't have Jaffa cakes. Amanda keeps eating them.
Amanda, we need to talk. Amanda, have you tried the raspberry ones? I love raspberry anything, but I need to know if the raspberry Jaffa cake is all that I would hope and dream it would be. I dream about a raspberry Jaffa cake.
Yeah, we have a weird child. Sorry for the brief interruption. We just both got a WhatsApp message from our one middle child saying, "Good night, mommies. It's 6:36 p.m." Um, I have no
Okay,
words.
that's good. When the moon hits your
It's
eye
your
like
eye
a
like a
big
big pizza
pizza
pie.
pie, that's a
That's, well, a
problem.
problem.
If you're on the YouTube street. I love it. Tiny Dancer just enters the chat with a with their own intro. You know what I mean? Like they're subtle as a brick. Here I am.
Yeah,
Love it.
glorious.
Amanda, what do you mean you don't like raspberry? What's wrong with you? Why are
We're
you broke?
welcome.
Why are you broken? Oh, none of us. We will be in our hopefully 80s, 90s, and that will still be in our heads. Well, oh come. And somebody
It-
will, we'll be sitting in a nursing home at some day, and somebody will ask us something, we'll say, you're well, oh come. And they will think, God love her. Poor wee Griffy has lost her mind. God love her. She doesn't even know the words anymore. Uh, and you're like, no, no, it was the moon. And then they'll be like, okay, we're gonna put you to sleep now, Griffey. Night night, night night.
yeah, it was on the moon's merged.
It was a vest top with no
and then
words. There was no
and,
words.
and then there was this trend where the poo could not do a video without ending it by saying "You're welcome."
And then they called the poo poo on the poo. And then they didn't like wee. They remained away.
And then they called the popo on the wee and the poo.
They wanted to kick wee. Very cruel.
With flip flops.
Right? When they're flip flopping all over the joint. Like, come on now. Yeah. And thank you, Sophie's mama. If you haven't already hit the little thumbs up thingy, because we are the worst YouTubers in history. That's why I tried to do that whole little speech thing of the doing all the things, because we all forget. Hit the little thumbs up, please. And for the
Yeah.
lurkers in my bush, GTFO or make yourself useful. Also, you can't
Grab
hit
the
the thumbs
clippers.
down. We don't give a shit. Grab the clippers, grab a strimmer, and a few cable ties. Hey.
Whipped cream.
Oh, don't that got that, the last time that was uttered, that got the world into trouble apparently. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Amanda, now look. Let me tell you a wee story. Once upon a time, we used to get very sore throats all the time. Apparently, I had sort of enlarged tonsils, and I used to get tonsil infection after tonsil infection. I was getting them all the time. So even when I was little, I knew that I could go into my granny's larder cupboard, in the kitchen, and take out some throat lozenges. I knew what to do. It was maybe only the second time I had done this myself because I grew up on a farm, so all the adults were otherwise occupied at the time, and I was like, no, no, I got this. So I waddled in, do, 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 up onto the second shelf, do, do, do. Got up the wee medicine box down, was doing all the things, got out my little throat lozenge and took my throat lozenge.
Yeah.
But it was tasted really strange, and it was like a little bit gritty. I didn't really understand why it didn't taste the same, but okay, it's going to make my throat better. Later that day, my granny had obviously come into the kitchen and she was like, oh, because she knew I had taken out the box, and I was told obviously to leave out the packet of whatever I had taken so that they would know what I had taken, right? Turns out we hadn't taken a throat lozenge. No, no. What she had taken was one of the dog's worming tablets.
Was that also
Uh,
raspberry?
well, they looked very similar. But it explained why it didn't do anything for my throat. But it was obviously squeaky clean and worm free afterwards. Um, I wouldn't recommend it to people, but it was one of those times where my granny was like, yeah, okie dokie, we're not doing that again. Yeah, yeah.
So that couldn't have been a yummy kind of sucking.
No, it did not taste good, but my wee throat was sore. I was just like, look, maybe it'll make it better. It did not make it better. No, no,
No,
it was not
and
good.
it must have taken quite a while to get that sucked away.
I'm I'm dedicated to the craft. What can I say? Where there's a
So
will, there's a way.
we is a grade A sucker.
Aye. But yeah, it was just a wee bit unfortunate. It was just what I didn't know.
Well,
They
you
looked
knew
the
after.
same, right? I found out very quickly. my granny literally sat me down and she was like, "No, this is different from this one. We need to make sure this doesn't happen again." Yeah. Welcome to the past, everybody, when things were a little bit more dangerous. Because you
Yeah.
used to just help yourself. It didn't work out very well all the time. But yeah, at least I had no worms. No worms at all, Chris. Zero worms. Worm free. Although, I know this will freak everybody out, right? But I'll say it because it's blowing my mind for days now. In Australia, I know this sounds like one of those National Enquirer stories, but it's not. It's an actual uh, biomedical study. It's not my granny found Bat Boy underneath the stairs kind of thing.
That's
Uh,
a fucking kangaroo.
it's a kangaroo, mate. Um, in Australia, this woman was having severe headaches. And she went to have all these. Well, Amanda, it looked a little bit like a fisherman's friend. It was like pink and the same kind of texture. I remember it to this day. It turned out it was not a fisherman's friend. There were no friends involved. No worms either, but no friends. Anyway, this woman went to the doctors and they were doing all of these tests and they found out that this woman had a mass inside of her brain and that was why she was having these very peculiar headaches. Her descriptive terms of what was happening to her, was unusual even to the neuroscientists because it was unusual even for them. So they had MRIs galore, CT scans, you name it, they had done all of the things. They then operated on this lady to incise and hopefully take a biopsy from this mass that was in her brain. They denucleated the little mass, which means you basically cut around it to make sure that you're not cutting any vital structures, and then opened the little mass, and there was a thread. So they removed the thread, and that all sounds okay. That could happen until you find out that the thread was actually a worm. And it was the first case where they have found someone where this worm was still alive in her brain. And it was quite of a hefty size too. It was a couple of centimeters, like it was causing havoc in there because of its wiggling about. One of those weird situations where the human species is evolving and not always in a good way because that never used to happen before. We know this because when they will remove a mass from people's brains and stuff, they literally incise it to see what is in it. They check all of that. But it was weird, and I have read so much in the past few days about worms that I think I'm now worm orientated. I now have been studying worms. Where this worm, the women had been picking these wild leaves beside a lake somewhere. And the best way that they can figure out what happened was that she somehow had ingested, either through her nose or by touching her mouth, one of the little eggs, and that had somehow got through her sinus cavity into her brain. How mad is that? How crazy is all that?
We need to protect our sinuses now. Where's the
Right?
toilet paper?
Forget the old C word. Now we need to worry about worms in our head. Well, you know, only if you live in Australia and you go to pick worms by, or not worms, go to pick leaves by a lake, you might get worms. But it was wild. I was like, oh my god, that's a whole lot more than she bargained for. And she's doing good now, but it was grim. Like they literally had footage of said wiggly worm. Yeah, yeah.
Do we know the current coordinates of said worm?
In a specimen jar. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
because my best guess would have been that it made its way over to a pigeon in Iowa.
Can you imagine if that becomes like a criticism or some sort of dig at some point? You must have worms in your head. But it was wild. I was like, look, I've been, I've read a whole lot of things. I've seen a whole lot of things that would make your toes curl. And even that one for me, I was like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I'm with Amanda on that one. Worms have better personalities than some people on these YouTube streets.
Get them a wee YouTube channel. Get them monetized.
Let's learn some manners with Willy the Worm.
You'd be able to be friends with uh Wee Willie.
Wee, wee Willy Weasel.
Yep, yep. Miss you, Wee Willie. We miss you.
Yes.
I think Wee Willie will make a comeback. He's off in his summer holidays. Oh, you can feed the worms to the pigeon. Talking of which, here's another weird little quirk of life. I have three magpies that are living in my backyard, right? They've been there for a little while. There's two grown ones and a wee younger one. It's a whole little sister wives situation of the magpies.
The
Two weeks
magpie
ago,
movement.
2 weeks ago, and they're big. The two adult ones are they're big even for magpies. These are they've been living life large, like they've been doing all the things. Those are healthy magpies. Uh, the two big ones have been around for a while. You can hear them chattering away. You can see them. They sit on the washing line outside my kitchen window and chatter away to each other. Every now and again, my wee dog runs out thinking like he's some sort of one dog militia, like he's going to take down all the birds. It's not going to happen. The bird's bigger than he is. It's fine. Um, and the bird can fly. There's that. So the bird flies off. Whiskey sits there and goes, uh, and that's normally just how it goes. But this new one came along, this wee younger one, and they've been having some sort of, I don't know, little marital arguments or something. I don't know. 2 weeks ago, they had a mad fight in my backyard. They were like squawking up a storm. It sounded like fishwives at dawn. They were screaming at each other like the loudest. You would have thought it was human beings. They were making so much noise. And they were chasing each other round the yard. No magpies were decapitated in this story. It's fine. It was just, they were just shouting at each other and chasing each other. And then it was all fine. Last week, the young one was sitting on my kitchen windowsill and it was pecking at the window like, let me in, let me in. And I'm like, what are you doing? You think you live here now? Come on, give me a break.
I think that magpie may have been trying to get away from an Iowa pigeon too.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, people don't really, I think, obviously, they don't, I didn't even realize they didn't have magpies in America, really. Until quite recently, because they are beautiful. One of the most beautiful things about them is that they have blue and green colored feathers that almost look like a petrol effect in the light.
Yeah.
They have that sort of different tone. We don't have like, because obviously it's a colder climate, we don't have any fancy little wildlife. We've no snakes, we've no, massive spiders. One
Kangaroos.
kangaroo that does a tour apparently.
In Lisburn.
Yeah, in Lisburn. um, so yeah, we most of our birds are usually like either brown or black. So magpies are quite beautiful, really, when you look at them. They've particularly unusual bluey green feathers in one spot, and they're pretty. They're very pretty, and they're smart as feck. The whole point of me
Mhm.
telling you this is that they have been causing havoc. I have one of those storage boxes in the backyard for, like little bits of gardening equipment and that kind of stuff. The little buggers have been able to get into it. They were able to prop open the lid. 3 birds, Griffey. These little dudes are doing some sort of
Construction.
right. They're just little hard hats and a drill away from putting up their own home out there. They're doing all the things.
So whenever you go out to do some gardening and you open up that little thing, you got a magpie shouting at you, "Shut the damn door!"
Right? Give me some privacy,
Oh!
you
You silly
pervert.
nit.
Get your own box. Um, but yeah, it's wild. Um, but one other thing they've been doing is they take things from other people's gardens and they'll bring it over here. Like they brought over a little tennis ball type thing. They brought over a hat. These magpies are bringing over equipment.
So next thing you know, your neighbors are gonna come knocking and saying, "Well, can you please tell your pets to return our stuff?"
Right? I mean, like, I didn't do nothing. These wee buggers have just took over. But I had because I obviously with being in crutches and a chair at times, I can't take out the 2 dogs at night time very well. So at night time, I just let them out into the backyard to go to the bathroom. There's no bathroom in the backyard. You get the drift. Uh, Leave it to the magpies. They'll have one by next week. Full working
Yeah.
shower, you name it. Um, but 2 days ago, I had tied up a little bag of poops and had set it on the wall so that then I would take it through the next morning and out to the bin. That was my plan. I'll not do it now because I'm in my pajamas. I'm not going. What had happened was, in my man person's words, he said it looked like there had been a shit pinata in the backyard. Picture the scene, everybody, where the magpies had obviously taken said little bag of poops and flung it feckin' everywhere. There was a poop explosion. I don't know. I'm beginning to feel like the magpies are trying to tell me something. So if you
You
can
think?
all um if you can all help me figure out what the fuck I'm meant to be doing, that would be good.
Well, I cannot really say, but one thing I can say for sure, your shit is booked with the magpies.
Right? Purple thinks she has problems with magpies. Oh no no. Oh no no no. Oh no no. Uh-uh. But yeah, it was his terminology as well, because normally I'm the one that comes up with more colorful descriptions
Shit
of things.
pinata.
But the shit pinata, because I was like, yep, yep, yep. And right now, if it did look like a shit pinata. I was like, oh my god. They'd been having a wee party out there with the poop bag. I don't know what they were doing. Ah, shit. I think they want me to leave out trays of tiny sandwiches. I'm not sure. So yeah, yeah.
Quite possibly.
Amanda, I found a story the other day of two magpies are one of those mate for life birds. Whenever they pick a partner, hence the why I find this whole little sister wives arrangement so fascinating of the magpies. Uh, but I had read a thing the other day about this little magpie who had an injured beak. The little top half of their beak had been chopped in half in an accident, right? But it was surviving and healthy and well. The only thing it obviously couldn't do is because of its injured beak, it was a little disabled beak, if you like. They wouldn't be able to go and, pick out worms or fling shit bags round your garden. They wouldn't be able to do any of that. But its wee partner, what it would do is the partner would go and get food for the little injured magpie. It had been disabled for a couple of years, like, so it was recovered and all, it wasn't in any pain. And he would feed it like you would feed a baby. And I was like, that's adorable. He's literally going and getting his missus dinner every day. And it was just too cute. One of those things where you're like, this is one of the times where, when they're not throwing shit bags, where animals are better than
Adorable.
humans. It was so cute. I was like, oh. And he did it all the time, would always feed his missus. And I was like, that's quite sweet, really. Yeah, there you go. Full of useless information, me.
Ah, gotta love it.
I know, right?
Magpies and all.
All these magpie stories, and where is she? Nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Disgraceful. She's probably throwing shit bags around my garden while we speak.
Or throwing shit bags at a pigeon.
Probably. Hey,
Hey, Marlena.
Marlena! I'm glad that you enjoyed the whimsical. I couldn't decide whether it was going to be Whimsical Wednesday or Whimsy Wednesday. Uh,
Or win a prize if you can pronounce Whimsical Wednesday.
right. Yeah. But we're glad to see you, Marlena. Wacky Wednesday. Oh, that's all
That,
of the days.
yes. That sort of reminds me of the time when I actually miss Kimmy, but I hope she's doing well. When Kimmy used to come about and say wackadoodle, wackadoodle, it was one of the words that she used to say often, wackadoodle. And then the next minute, what Libby had a live stream called Wackadoodle Wednesday,
Yep.
and Kimmy got so upset because that's her word.
I can understand why she was probably thinking, well, I haven't heard anybody else say it. It's
Yeah,
one of those words that is weirdly more common to say if you are either Canadian or UK based or Australian, more than an American would say it.
yeah.
For some weird little reason, I don't know why.
And the other thing she used to say that I used to love was she got, "Good Lord, love a duck."
I
was
know.
really all love that.
I know. Kimmy, if you hear us at some point, we miss you and love you very much, but we hope you're doing really well, love. We really hope so.
Yeah, very, very much so. I don't know, seeing Carol Johnson made me miss quite a few things. You just don't see it happen anymore, but I was glad that we were there to see it the first time around. like good Lord love a duck, whack a doodle in Tiffany's left foot.
I mean, she always, Kimmy was one of those people who, she reminded me of my granny in so many ways. She's one of those people who would cook up enough to feed 5,000 people, even though there would only be like two people there to eat it. Because she would be
Yeah.
like, oh, well, you never know who might pop round. Enough to feed the entire town. But no, no. So she would do that, but she would always make amazing things, and it would be, oh, I just threw in a bit of that and a bit of something else. That is exactly how my grandmother cooked, and it always turned out amazingly.
Yeah.
Whereas I need to follow a recipe like my life depends on it. I haven't got that skill of just a wee pinch of that and a wee handful of that and something
Mhm.
else. I'm just like, no, no, it has to tell me what to do. I don't, I'm going to mess it up. I get all stress heady about it. I know,
You know,
right? Can you imagine?
I'd love to see we bake that Jaffa cake thing. I think that would be glorious.
We'll
It would be
see.
a very
We'll
nice
see.
cake.
The only problem is then I would have to eat it.
Where's the problem?
I don't see your problem.
Well, because it's kind of large.
And
Make a smaller
you
one.
can provide a peace offering for the magpies. Maybe they won't fling shit at you.
Yeah, join the membership and I'll send you the recipe for the huge Jaffa cake.
And Stella and I will send you the recipe for a milk tart.
A milk tart reminds me very much of the custard tarts, though.
Mm,
It's very similar.
yes.
And no, Sophie's mama, I haven't seen Italian Girl in a wee while either. Um, I think now it's hard to keep track a little bit during the summer because people go off and they tend to do their various things where you would think it's usually more in the winter time you tend to see more people because obviously we're spending more time indoors for one reason or another. Um, and it does always make you wonder too. You sort of like, are they okay, or are they just out living their best life? Which one
Are
is
they
it?
hibernating?
Yes, but I haven't been around much over the past week either. Um, so I wouldn't take that as a useful measure, but I haven't seen her in the little bits I have seen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I haven't been around in several weeks. But yeah. Haven't seen her either. And surprisingly enough, and that was before I wasn't around as much, I haven't seen Queen OG. Is she okay?
I think with her, because obviously it being the summer holidays, well, I think the kids will have just started back to school for her. Um, but I think she was taking some well needed family time. Um, and I haven't seen her around either, but I would imagine we probably will soon. I hope we will soon.
That would be good.
I still have my membership, so, I think summer it's complicated because I think, once the kids are at home, you end up having to entertain them in some way before you all go crazy and before life passes you by and all of the things.
Yeah, not everybody's lucky enough to have shit flinging magpies in their backyard.
Right? Aren't you all jealous? This is the exciting life I live, cleaning up after magpies.
I'm sure it's better than screaming cat.
Yeah.
Or if you and Stella get serenaded by a cat every night and they enjoy it, Stella loves that cat. Um, that cat is our best friend.
Oh shit, we.
You heard the magic words that I hear so often. Go shit, we.
In a pinata,
And have your magpie friends distributed.
right? That's why they make such little good distribution sources for seeds and stuff. It's almost like they're meant to do it. But I was like, oh, come on, lads. You've totally wrecked the backyard. Like, you could have, of all the things you could have done, this is not a good one. Please don't do that. But yeah, the fact that all three of them are together now, just like it is like a daily version of Magpie Sister Wives for me. Of what are they up to today? I get my coffee in the morning, they're right there doing all the things. Yeah. Marlena's locking her kids in the carriage. What, for the entire summer, or do you let them out?
Are they allowed to go potty? Do they just hang it in a bag, put it in a bag, and hang it on the wall?
Give it to the local magpie? Marlena, you're one of those people. Age is a really difficult thing to tell online, just to guess. But you're definitely one of those people that I would not have said your children were that old. I wouldn't. I would have said young teenagers. And that's a good thing, by the way, because you just have a fun, more positive outlook on life. Usually by this stage, the rest of us are that jaded that we're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's sort of like a mix between you're so lucky and look at that Marlena strutting about like she owns the fucking place with her grown up children and all.
I know, look at her being all nice and
She doesn't
stuff.
have to contend with her youngest being in grade one.
I know. You see, you are younger than me then,
Yeah.
Marlena. You are.
Wonder whose fault is that? She's still young.
Yeah. But
Dude,
Marlena's
she's
one of those
14.
people that I would have said was probably like 35. I don't know why. I've just always had that vibe.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, like it's not a bad thing. Um, yeah, just one of those weird little observations. Oh, Marlena. Oh, Marlena. Ah, dear. I always used to
Um,
love it back in the day when the old Zag would talk about the other Marlena. You two behave yourselves because it's kind of very obvious. You're about as subtle as a brick. Uh, but whenever the old Zag would talk about the other Marlena, and then people would get confused and they would think it was Marlena Cantu that was doing all the things out on Ben Hill, and everyone, no, 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 different person. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Not the same one. No, no,
Not Marlena Crawford. No, no, not that one.
no. Totally different vibe. Let's just nip that in the bud, please. But it always used to make me chuckle. A little bit like whenever they said I was from Tennessee. And I'm like, oh dear.
Or
Oh,
Australia.
right?
Next
You
thing
know,
you know, you're gonna be from Timbuktu.
Angelo, one of the ones that upsets Purple so much kind of recently, uh, he hadn't heard me speak until recently. Like he has seen me type in Savage's chat or Jenny Jen Jen's chat many times. But obviously he just hadn't connected the two. And then he was like, "Oh my God, you speak like proper English?" I was like,
Who
"Really?"
would have thunk it?
And he was like, "You're like Australian or something." And I swear I had tears rolling down my face, and I was like, "Oh, here we go again."
You're one of those.
I'm not Australian. I do have a kangaroo though. Hi. Right, Marlena, you're like me and the other Frosty. I'm always, not this Frosty, not this one, the other one, not me. I'll take responsibility for the shit I did, but I'm not that one. We're different people. We're not the same person.
Hmm?
And poor Griffy gets the other Griff. That's always a joy.
Oh, yeah. What joy.
It's a
I
lot.
get to be a burly, oil drilling psychopath of a man.
Oh, he's still telling everybody all about themselves, but now he's managed to broker some sort of camaraderie with BK and TM recently. That was kind of hilarious to me. I'm like,
Again?
again, again, again. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Has he changed his name again?
Probably. He's probably changing it as we speak.
Hmm.
Ah, God love him.
Probably following another rage quit, not so much.
He's one of those few dudes, though, that makes me seem short and to the point. Because he's still talking like 6 hours later to himself, not even to the chat, just.
And still has not said a single thing that made any kind of sense.
Um, Constance got a good. I think it was Constance, or was it Rap? Maybe had got a little him real good last week. Griff's mic was all messed up. His chat had told him that it was all messed up. Of course, he wasn't looking at that, so he would have no idea. Uh, it did sound like, when you used to dial into the radio station and it was maybe just a little bit off.
Yeah.
There was an awful lot of interference on the mic. So all you could hear was this wild noise and somebody barely mumbling in the background. I mean, if you thought it couldn't have got better. And people were trying to help him. Even people that didn't like him were like trying to help him. But he
Dude,
then
fix your
became
shit.
oddly aggressive with all of this. Instead of just taking it for what it was, it's equipment. Equipment gets messed up sometimes. But people were trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
It didn't go well.
Ah. Well, would it be
I
nasty of me to say that I hope he has that mic malfunction more often than not?
well, I think that would be overly hopeful. Um, you know, you know.
Hmm? Oh my. I feel so sorry for you, Marlena. Which reminds me, I'm also looking forward to Pooh's next premiere.
And for whichever happy camper is lurking in the bushes, has could you please take it back to your team and ask dear Levid, has he reported yet? to Tiffany and Benny Keys because they were looking for him. Uh, have you answered his master's voice yet, Levid? Have you? Have you? Have you? Just curious.
Hop to attention.
Chop chop. He's over there being all mouthy, telling us all about ourselves in Purple's chat. Sit down, son. Sit down.
It's quite an interesting thought. If you were to ever wanna torture yourself, who would you much rather sit and listen to a marathon of live streams of? Levitt or Griff?
Oh my god.
It's a tricky,
Griff. As
it's
mad as that is, I would pick Griff.
it's a tricky one to figure out because I've never hated myself quite that much.
No, well, I do. I do hate myself that much. Welcome to YouTube. Hello. Contrary to what the pigeon might like to think, we don't all have an overwhelming self-esteem. We don't think we're in charge of YouTube, you know? But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
if I had to choose to listen to either one of them, it would be Griff. Partly because I think I could,
dull him
yeah,
out.
I would Carol Johnson the shit out of that situation.
I throw my phone in the toilet. You wouldn't need to. Just give him to Wee. She'll put it in the bag for the magpies.
My lord. Right. I have a question for you, everybody. It's going to be in the chat so I can put it on the screen. Do, do.
Do, 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 do.
Right. We're gonna take different sets of answers for this question. Ooh,
Do, 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 do.
right.
Right.
Who in this chat would be most likely to make babies cry? Has to be in this chat first of all. We'll do that version. Who in the people that you have seen today would be most likely to make babies cry?
We're exempt from answering, right?
Nope. Stella, you're first. Off you go. Who is most likely to make babies cry?
Me.
What are you going to do to the babies, Stella? Big meanie.
And I think I'd make them cry by laughing at Stella making them cry.
Oh, you're such big meanies. Marlena agrees with you. She thinks it would be Griffey. What did the rest of you think? I realize that some people are only listening because they're at work and they can't really type, but who would be most likely in this chat to make babies cry? Amanda? Uncle Amanda, what are you doing? I think it would be Carol Johnson.
I would have said it would be a toss up between Carol Johnson and Lisa Jones.
I think Carol Johnson because she would turn up as Tiffany's big toe, and I think that would frighten a poor child. That would scar them for life.
Yeah.
It's not wee. The babies love wee. Look, I'm a little cute little furry teddy thing. Look, I'm adorable.
And she's got this cute little teddy bear voice on her as well.
I'm adorable. Tiny
Tiny
Dancer.
Dancer, there is no way that you would make babies cry because you would serenade them. When the moon hits your eye like the magpie in Louis' yard, that's amore. But when the moon hits your eye like the shit flung by a magpie, that's amore.
Right, let's try another one. Let's try another one. While I'm typing this out, who out of all the creators that you know would be most likely to make babies cry?
Ah, the pigeon.
Moon.
The moon and the pigeon. Especially when they bring their faces up so close to the
Right,
camera. Oh,
full moon.
full moon. That would make the world cry, not just the babies.
Ah. I see what you did there, Marlena. I see what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a reject from the Mennonites.
I think he would spit on the baby. I think he would do. He's so busy spitting everywhere. He'd be like, and it would all just go horribly after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The baby would be a bigger OG gangster. I know that for sure. Yeah. Right. Here's another one. Does it show up? No,
Yes.
there we go. It took a wee while. Who is most likely to get detained for fighting a police officer?
Does that include co hosts?
It includes everybody in this chat for now.
In this chat?
Unlike,
That's probably we.
Yeah.
you think I would fight a police officer?
You're feisty.
You'd argue the poor bugger to death?
I so would. I would be like, I would argue him to death. That would happen. Poor dude would have lost the will to live very quickly. Yeah. Who is most likely to get detained for fighting a police officer? I think Lisa Jones. I think Lisa Jones would be waiting for the school bus to come past as she does, and then she would be standing at the front door, and she does this thing, Lisa Jones, where she flashes the bus driver her bra from the front door. I think then the bus driver would call the police, and the police would turn up, and Lisa would be Lisa. It would be terrible. Tasers would be used. There would be mace everywhere. It would be an awful situation.
Baseball bat would have a new set of teeth lodged in
Right.
it.
Honest, it's terrible, terrible.
But I also agree with Tiny Dancer. I think we want a pat down.
No, no, officer, check my inside pocket.
Officer, I have a few more places for you to inspect.
You missed one.
Mr. Officer, sir, I have a secret pocket somewhere. And I gotta tell you, it was a God given talent.
I'm a professional. Uh, who out of the creators that you know, and it has to only be one, who preferably, yeah, who is most likely to get detained for fighting a police officer?
I would say a creator's co host, and I would go with Heidi.
You're such a meanie, Griffey.
Yeah, next I'll be on the chopping block for bashing her. It's voicing an opinion.
I know. Where's Soup when we need her for? We need little Soup
With a plethora
clips.
of opinions.
A fundamental plethora of opinions. We need to get cacophony worked in there too. By the way, jerks, if any of you are listening, that needs to be added to the repertoire, please.
But they should up their game and put it in the title so that the pigeon could try and pronounce it.
Cacophony.
You could put me. Uh, anyway, it's like seriously.
Oh dear, dear. But yeah, I thought I would. Those we'll do more of those. Hopefully, when we have uh people that are able to engage a wee bit more, realize that today was a little bit of a surprise that we're early.
Yeah.
But this is the way we're going to be from now on. We're going to try and do a daily schedule of around this time every day, and then you guys can let us know in the comments if it works better for you, or scheduling wise, if you think a different time would work better. Let us know, folks.
Yes, please do. Because as I said to while we were talking about the scheduling and how we're going to do things and to be online more and be able to do more live streams, this is pretty much the best time frame where I can more accurately say we will have electricity. Between 6 and 7, more often than not, we're on. The other times are a disaster. I mean, as you guys probably have seen, the last two live streams that we had, each time the power went out on us while we were still live streaming. So, yeah. In order to try and prohibit that from happening, that's why we started off with maybe we should try this time frame and see how it works.
Yeah, for all of the reasons. It means that you can be here for number one. And then the other thing is, every time that the power goes off when your computer goes on, your computer no like it no more. It starts to become a problem.
Yeah.
So we have to try and prevent that as much as possible. But when the tiny Africans aren't here, it'll be just we. So God help
Hmm.
you all. God help you all. You can pray. You can pray hard for electricity in South Africa.
Yes. Pray for the electricity in South Africa because otherwise you're going to be sitting with shit flinging magpies in the form of we.
This is very true. This is very true.
Thank you, Sophie's mama.
Thank you, Sophie's mama. We love and appreciate you so much. Well, we love and appreciate all of you guys, but thank you very much for the 1999 super chat. We
My chat
appreciate and
had
love you for it.
stopped. Sorry,
What?
my
What?
chat had
Oh,
stopped. It had stopped moving, and I hadn't even. I was like, nobody's talking.
was it the magpies?
I thought it was maybe my questions had finished everybody off. I was like, everybody's gone silent. What? Oh my God, I've ruined everybody. Thank you very much, Sophie's mama. Thank you. Um,
Look at that pretty puppy.
Mhm. Adorable.
I know, right?
Mhm.
I also love Amanda's puppy. Look at that face.
Speaking of dogs, I saw the funniest clip today of a dog that gets excited about an ice cream truck. Gets
Cream.
excited and runs up and down until the ice cream truck stops in front of the house and then goes and sits there and waits at attention for the ice cream.
Aww. Can't blame him though. That's one thing I haven't heard very much this year round here very much. And because normally they would be out and about during the summer, but uh well, where I live at the moment anyway, but where I was growing up as a child, it would come around every day during the summer. And it would mean then my poor mother was terrorized. Oh, I thought, I want an ice cream. And of course, there was no money for a feckin' ice cream. We were like, I want an ice cream. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I also got a similar story about that. Ever since Valerie was able to talk and the ice cream truck would come by, I would also get that, Mom, I want ice cream, I want ice cream. And I wouldn't have money. I don't have money for ice cream. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't have money for ice cream. Then after a bit, whenever she would hear the little ice cream truck, you would hear her saying, I'm sorry, we don't have money for ice cream, shouting at the ice cream truck,
Uh,
which later developed into this ragey grunt. And, we don't have money for your damn ice cream.
ooh, spicy.
Very. I was like, oh my, what have I done?
You created a monster.
Created a monster. She now has a
Hurling abuse at the ice cream.
she now has a hatred towards the ice cream truck.
Coming
Also has a
around here
mystery
taunting
now.
me.
When you talk about something, she would go, I know, right?
Oh Lord. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is from a 7-year-old. I know, right?
Been there, moms. Been there.
Well, let's count our blessings. At least she's now not going, and like seriously.
And
Like,
supposedly.
And supposedly.
oh, I swear that one gets me every time. And so many people are saying it now that it makes me desperately unhappy. I'm like, no, no, there's a whole actual word, and you've ruined the word. What are you doing? Especially when they say it with some attitude on it, and I'm like, oh,
Mm.
God love you. You don't even realize how silly you sound. It's always funny.
Education is important. It's
All right.
important.
Um, what was I going to do before we go? I was going to,
Strip.
well, we'll save that for tomorrow. Uh,
That sounds fun.
You see, that makes Stella so happy.
do, 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 do. I can't find the way. That's weird. I was looking for Pooh's link for this evening
Whose link for this evening? Uh,
for their handy dandy little leopard video.
Hold,
Uh,
please. Your call is important to us.
Alright, for some reason it's not showing up on.
Yeah.
And I know I've already set the little notifications.
I have the same, but YouTube is weird.
Yeah, YouTube is doing some weird stuff in general at the moment. We'll put in their general link just. If you can all make sure you have your subscription checked, do your little notifications on. We're gonna do a handy dandy little reminder. Made that sound like a little poem there. Handy dandy little reminder
Yeah.
of the behaviors of Levid. Dun dun dun. Well, some of them anyway. You can't broadcast all of them. You know what I mean? It'd be a lot. We're
Oh,
not.
and then
We're not
and
ready
then
for
on.
the Great White Hope yet.
Yeah. Oh Lord, no.
No.
And in answering your question, Morlena, Magpie is one of those very talented individuals that gets underneath the poor, unfortunate pigeon's skin so often, and she does it by using logic and utterly impressive timing.
Perfect. Perfect in every way. She's a very smart lady as well. Um, but her sense of timing knocks the pigeon off her rhythm so epically. And usually all the things that Magpie will say is, "Are we doing any crafting tonight?" Or "Can I have a wrench?" Or they're not terrible. She's not being offensive in any way.
Yeah.
I think you would love her, Marlena. You would love her. um, because yeah, the reaction is all and I would love to make a wee compilation. We should get Pooh to do that, like a little
Yeah.
compilation of reactions.
Of every time that, especially every time that Heidi tells Magpie to shut the fuck up or go away.
Yeah, Heidi loses her shit at Magpie quite epically. Magpie
Oh,
just has to
poor
say is
Magpie.
Magpie can go into chat and say, "Hello, I love you all." And then as soon as that has happened, Heidi explodes in a fit of rage. It's hilarious.
Thank
Oh,
you for
thank you,
dropping that link,
Amanda.
Amanda.
I don't know why it's not showing up on the computer for me.
No idea.
I
YouTube being
saw it.
meanie.
I saw it earlier. So yes, make sure you can pop in there because for Pooh to poop all over delivered
Yes,
epically. Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
magpie pinata sort of fashion.
Right. I know. Pray for me. Can we get some crab hands in the chat? And on that happy note, we're going to call it a day, I think, because we'll be back
Yes,
tomorrow.
yes,
Um,
we will.
Thank you very much, everybody. And like I said, you can let us know if how this time schedule suits you. If you need it earlier, later, let us know because we're just sort of in the experimental phase at the moment.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So thank you to one and all for joining us this evening. We so loved and appreciated seeing Carol Johnson and of course Marlena and Amanda and all of you guys, Sophie's mama,
Tiny Dancer,
Tiny Dancer,
Tony,
Tony, Lisa Jones,
Lisa
Mama
Jones.
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yes.
Aquahoma is not going to be happy. She's like, this is right at my cooking time. We haven't got time for entertaining your craziness. We,
Yeah.
which is a fair point. Okay, see you later, Marlena, and see you all tomorrow. Same bat
Hello.
channel, same bat
Bye bye.
time. Bye.